My wife and I opened a ministry in 2000 in Joplin, Missouri called Watered Gardens. It continues to operate today, and it's very different from when we first started. When we first started, compassion caused us to give a lot of stuff away. People would come in and ask for things, and if we had the things they needed, we'd give it to them, and out the door they'd go. We realized we weren't actually seeing the change in people's lives that we'd hoped to see. There were some things that really helped us change. And one of those is a time that I was homeless myself, and I won't go into the details there, but I was on the streets with a guy whose name was Ralph, who offered me half of a sandwich. Now I want you to think about that for a second. If a homeless man offered you half of a sandwich, what would you do? Well, on that particular day, I was very hungry. My thought was I would never take a sandwich from a homeless man. I mean, they're the ones I should be feeding. And that's the way things had been in our ministry for the first few years. Fortunately, I was hungry enough that I broke bread with Ralph that day. And when I did, I realized I had been treating thousands of people as objects of my good intentions rather than subjects who have autonomy and agency and capacity to contribute. It transformed our ministry. And when we became more of a challenging developmental model, we went from seeing 4,000 people a year through our doors to about 1,200. Where did the 2,800 go? Well, they had been trapped in cycles of dependency that we had created. They were going somewhere else. And we realized we've got to share what we've learned about effective charity and who the human person is. So we've learned these three basic things over the years. It's important to measure outcomes. It's important to embrace work for your clients. And it's important to do this from a privately funded position and stay away from government funding. Privately funded, outcome-driven, work-oriented approaches to fighting poverty, I believe, represents the solution to the problem of dependency in America today. Maybe you've heard these 5 steps to dependency. When you give something to somebody once, they'll appreciate it. When you give the same thing again, they're going to anticipate it's coming a 3rd time. You give it a 3rd time, there's now an expectation. A 4th time, entitlement, and a 5th time, dependency. Appreciation, anticipation, expectation, entitlement, dependency. That's a national issue affecting tens of millions of people who are trapped in dependent poverty today. And the only way to solve the problem is to transform the way that charity is practiced in the United States. That's what True Charity is doing, and here's how we do it. We engage thousands of leaders across the nation through workshops in their cities, online learning at True Charity University, a national summit that gathers hundreds of leaders together annually. And we always ask leaders, are you intending to change the way you practice charity after engaging one of our workshops or one of our educational events? And well over 90% say that they will. But we know talk is cheap and real change is hard. That's why we created the True Charity Network. The network equips pastors and leaders with hyper-practical tools and training that they can put into play in their own context of ministry. Like, how do I take my food pantry handout model and turn it into a food co-op? Or how do I take my Christmas giveaway program and turn it into a Christmas market that helps dignity be retained in parents? Or how do I help my volunteers build real relationships with people? We have a mentorship model action plan for that. Scores of tools and model action plans we've created helping leaders transform the way they're practicing charity. Currently, more than 200 churches and nonprofits across the nation have joined the movement. Together, we are championing a resurgence of civil society in the fight against poverty, no less transforming the way that charity is practiced in the United States. I hope you'll join the movement. To find out more, please visit truecharity.us.